Hello, my name is Kearney Robinson, and I'm a doctoral student at the University of Southern Indiana. This is Decoding to Word Mastery, exploring eye tracking as a tool for understanding reading processes in a linguistic approach to instruction. This presentation is on the potential of using eye motion's eye tracking technology to study patterns in reading development with the Robinson reading system, which is a relatively new and certainly unique approach to reading instruction. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about the simple view of reading, technology in the science of reading, the Robinson reading system, and I will end with my contact information if you'd like to learn more or get involved. I'd love to hear from you. What is reading? To answer this question, Philip B. Goff and William E. Tunmer came up with the simple view of reading. This equation was decoding times language comprehension equals reading comprehension. Reading comprehension is understanding what you read. To understand what you read, you need to both decode and understand the language. Language comprehension is understanding the language. So let's do an experiment. What does this say? Li, lu, lum. I can guess how to pronounce those words, but do I know what they mean? Do you? No. They're jumbled fake words. They mean nothing to us. This is an example of when language comprehension is out of the equation. And if you don't have language comprehension, if you don't know what that means, you're not actually reading. You don't actually have reading comprehension of the words li, lu, lum. You need to understand the language for reading comprehension. Next, let's talk about decoding. Decoding is the ability to translate written symbols, print, into their corresponding spoken forms. In this example, I have written symbols that I can decode and one that I can't. If you can't decode, you can't have reading comprehension. I don't know what those symbols say. I don't know what they mean. I can't read them at all. Goff and Tumner used the term decoding in 1986, but that term was updated in 1990 to word recognition by Goff and Wesley A. Hoover to make the model more precise and theoretically accurate to developing reading skills. The term decoding was too ambiguous and too narrow to describe how skilled readers actually read words. New readers rely on effortful decoding, while skilled readers do not. Skilled readers recognize words. Let's do an experiment on automatic word retrieval. Can you read this? What does this say? These words have the first and the last letter, but all letters within are jumbled. I'm sure you read this, but did you sound them out? No, you did not. You recognized the words on sight. Here's a creative illustration to help us understand the difference between effortful decoding and what you did, automatic word retrieval. The first column, I have illustrations to represent effortful decoding. Notice how letters are mapped to make sounds and come up with meaning. The first is effortful decoding on a word that is not jumbled. The second is effortful decoding on a word that is jumbled, like the text above. Now notice the second column, which represents looking at the entire word. Studies have shown that new and skilled readers track words very differently, and much like what I've illustrated on this slide. In automatic word retrieval, you can see that it is easier to identify the entire word because you're looking at the entire word. So the jumbled word letters in the middle don't mess you up quite as much. So we know that looking at words is different for new or advanced readers, and now technology exists that can prove it. Here is an image of an MRI of the brain of a kindergarten student before and after some reading development. Reading skills are not natural in the human brain, and they must be built. With technology, we can now see the differences in a brain before and after it learns how to read. The next image is of a student wearing an eye tracking device to show how his eyes move across text when reading. When someone is a new or non-reader, their eyes track text very differently than someone with automatic word retrieval skills. I propose a new study that will engage such a technology, exploring eye tracking as a tool for understanding reading processes in the linguistic approach to instruction. The Robinson Reading System is a research-based approach to teaching reading developed by my late mother, Dr. Martha Robinson. This unique system is rooted in the principles of Orton Gillingham and uses a proprietary linguistic code to build strong literacy foundations, skills, and eventually mastery. Students are taught the proprietary linguistic code developed by Dr. Robinson. They're taught foundational skills of decoding and blending sounds with this structured code. The code is placed above regularly spelled words, which means students can engage with that text immediately and rely on the simpler code as needed to support decoding and word retrieval skills. If a student comes to a word they cannot decode or do not automatically recognize, they may use the Robinson reading code above the text. But once a word is known, the student no longer relies on the code. Eventually, the code is not needed at all. Here's another sample of the code on a book in the higher level of the sequence. The Robinson reading system includes sound acquisition logs, sound cards, sound books for learning new sounds, an instruction manual, and a large collection of books organized in a sequence. Children ages 4 and above, including adults and including those with dyslexia, can learn with this system. The vision of this program is that it is effective and it is simple for instructors to use. Essentially, anyone can pick this up, follow the simple and direct instructions provided in the manual, and teach someone else how to read. Background, skills, and education can vary from novice to experienced. Any kind of background, I believe, could effectively teach reading with this system. I intend to study this system and the development of readers who use it with technology. I believe that using eye motions, eye tracking technology will help me better understand what is happening and to better convey that information to others, and potentially adjust the system based on results. Eye tracking technology can monitor gaze location, where someone is looking, fixations, when the eye stops, saccades, eye movements between fixations, regressions, backward eye movements, scan paths, sequence of eye movements, and fixation density or heat maps. I believe that it is possible to track these patterns, collect that data, and compare it to the development of an individual child or adult who's learning how to read with this system. This is a very simplified demo of what I'm looking for. The heat maps and things like that wouldn't be on a line graph like this, but what I would want to track is eye tracking patterns compared to reading acquisition. So here's another sample. This is made up, but this is what I propose, an idea of where I want to go with this. I want to be able to have actual data on how eye tracking changes when someone develops their skills. Right now, I know that my students use the code more at the beginning and less as they become skilled readers. But I would really like to put that to the test and just see exactly how, see what nuances, see if it's different for each learner, see if it's um, similar in some ways across learners, and potentially adjust the curriculum, potentially adjust the sequence of books. Right now, we have a very structured sequence, and I'm curious with this study, will that impact the sequence? Will we change what counts as a lower level versus a higher level? So I'm very excited for the potential of this study. To close, again, I am Kearney Robinson. I'm a doctoral student in the Teacher Education Department, and I will be collaborating with the iMotions Lab at the Romaine College of Business here at USI. This is an exciting collaboration. If you would like to learn more about eye tracking technology, the Robinson Reading System, or if you or someone you know is interested in participating in this study, either as a tutor, I can train you and you can work with me, or as a student, if you know somebody who needs help learning how to read, and they could potentially be a participant in this study, please reach out to me. I have here my USI contact information, my email address, my office phone number, and a link to the USI Literacy Center. And I also have contact information for the Robinson Reading System. Thank you so much for listening, and please reach out if you have any questions or comments. I would love to hear from you. Thank you.